Hello everyone, Trumax here. Welcome to episode number 12 of Modded Factorio Season 3. Today we will build the train station and the, what's it called? The metal factories. Metal processing factories. So, before we start building, let us go through the buildings that we are going to need one by one, as well as some special buildings down here. So, when we mine the ore, right? First, we need to bring that into an ore crusher, because you need crushed ore. Then, we have, at the current moment in the game, two options to choose from. We either can directly sort the ore, as you can see here, for the iron ore, for example, 2 crushed sapphirite and 2 crushed gibbelite, or the normal ore crushing sorting for 4 crushed sapphirite, which would give us metal slag, iron ore, and copper ore. Or we could do the chunk sorting, which would give us slag, iron ore, copper ore, silicon ore, and I think it was zinc, and some Uoki ore, I can see. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's Uoki stuff. Now, how do we get sapphirite chunks? Well, we get it from here, the flotation cell. Sapphirite hydro refining. And of course, that goes for all the other ores as well. For this, we're gonna need the crushed ore as well as purified water. Purified water is easy to get, we just need normal water and channel that into what's it called, the washing plant, in order to get purified water. So that's pretty easy. Now the chunks, they are the next tier. I'd say it's tier 2 ore sorting, or rather ore refining. So it's definitely gonna increase the output. It is an extra step, of course, but you get more out of it. So, we get from 2 crushed sapphirite and 50 purified water, we get 2 sapphirite chunks. 50% chance to get a geode out of this. Geodes can be used as to produce the gems from Bob's mods. And we get 50, what's it called, sulfuric wastewater, I believe was it, which we then can refine into or rather reprocess into sulfur, and of course can bring that in as purified water. So I'd say when we go mining up here, we've got the sapphirite, we've got the gibbelite. I'd say we will process this as sapphirite chunks and gibbelite chunks, and then we can sort this stuff. We get some extra ore out of it that we are going to use anyway. We could also completely skip the entire flotation cell process and just get 4 iron ore out of 2 crushed sapphirite and 2 crushed gibbelite. But I believe that this would be the best way to go about it, because we get more different ores out of it, especially ores that we are going to need anyway. I believe this one gives us aluminum. I believe that is zinc, the one, the brighter ore on the right. Yeah, I think that was zinc. Other one must be nickel. Yeah, I believe it was nickel, and we get silicon out of it. Ah, well. Let's go to the next step. Once we got the ore, first thing we want to do is bring it into the ore processing machine. That is the first step to increase the overall output of, let's say, iron, for example. Processed iron. We get 2 processed iron out of 4 iron ore. Then the next step would be the blast furnace, where we can make iron ingots and other types of ingots as well as lead oxide and alumina, but more to that later. So we get 24 iron ingots out of 24 iron ore, yes? We can also get 24 iron ingots out of 8 processed iron and 2 coke. Now, remember, this one gave us 2 processed iron for 4 iron ore, which means 16 iron ore is going to make 8 processed iron. And 8 processed iron gives us 24 iron ingots. So we saved 8 iron ore. Instead of doing this, 24 for 24, it's a 1-on-1, and that one is a third less that we are going to need. Of course, we are going to need coke for this, but coke is actually pretty easy to produce. We can do the same thing with steel. 24 iron ingots into steel with oxygen gas, which is pretty easy to get. Keep in mind, the blast furnace, this one is the Mark II version, doesn't need electricity, it needs fuel, such as coal. And it works. So you will have to deliver some fuel to it. What fuel you are using depends on you. You can use solid fuel, you can use coke, you can use coal, depends on what you want. Then the next step would be the induction furnace. In the induction furnace, for example, for iron, we got several recipes for this. This one is the most simple, just 12 iron ingots and you get 120 molten iron. If you combine it with 12 manganese ingots, which are not that easy to get, you get 240 molten iron. You just take the 12 iron ingots, but you need 12 manganese ingots in order to double your output. The same goes for this one, but you need silicon ingots. And silicon ingots are made, there we go, silicon ore and 6 carbon. So once you get the molten iron, there are 2 ways that we can further process this into the end product that we want. So first, iron plate. 40 molten iron gives us 4 iron plates, okay? That's not so bad. Then we have here the strand casting machine. It's a Mark I version that allows us to process the molten iron with the addition of some water into iron sheet coils. This is Angel's way to compress things. We have the copper wire coils for copper wires. We got the iron sheet coils, tin wire coils, solder coils, and sheet coils. Now, while this is pretty good for compression, you need to uncompress it. For example, these iron sheet coils before you can further use them. So you need some additional infrastructure in order to use the iron that you are creating from this. So, if you say want to make iron gears, you first need a factory that takes the iron sheet coil and turns it back into iron plates. Then you can use it. If you want compression, of course, this is ingenious. And if you don't mind the additional infrastructure to uncompress it, let's take a look at this one. Iron sheet coil. Ingredient in a product of iron sheet coil. Ingredient iron plate. 1 iron sheet coil equals 4 iron plates. So we can take a look at this again. This makes out of 40 iron, 40 molten iron, 4 iron plates. This one needs 80 molten iron plus 40 water and makes 4 iron plates, but it is a higher compression. So in the end, if you have a lot of materials but want compression, go with the strand casting machine. If you don't have that much resources and want to make use of the iron plates directly without uncompressing them first, then go with the normal casting machine. So then we have the machines down here. One is the powder mixer. You can make aluminum hydroxide in it, glass mixture. and the second recipe with the glass mixture, which gives you 2 if you add some lime to it. Now currently these are the only 3 recipes that I have unlocked for this, so definitely going to be more useful later on though. Then we have the sintering oven. Currently we don't have any recipes for this. It's going to be useful later on though. And then of course the chemical furnace. In this we can make, for example, chrome ingots. It's from chrome ore. This too can be gained from the washing plants. You can also process your titanium in here, as well as zinc. This doesn't have that much of a use at this stage of the game currently yet, but as we progress it will definitely have a greater purpose. So these are the machines. Now we need a setup. As you can see, I have pretty much doubled the space available in the factory. This one is going to be dedicated to the railway as well as the metal processing facilities. Now we just need to figure out how we want to set this up. First, I would like to have the warehouse. I'd like to place it a bit further back. I suppose, let's see, I could place it somewhere down here. And then have the processing going on this way. Let's place it right here. Why not? Of course, warehouse for storing the ore, which will then be transported in via train, via transport belts, transported in and transported out into the processing facilities. So what are we going to need first? We are going to need the ore processing machine. And I'm going to place... how many shall I do? I have 10 of them, but I think 8 is a good number. Okay, let me see here. For processed iron, we need 4 iron ore, which means we can do this and this. Same on the other side. Where's the machine again? Oh, there it is. Then again, nah, 8 should be fine. I have to put that a little bit higher, a bit more centered. There we go. That leaves us a little bit more space down here in case we need to do something. So, next would be then, where is it? The induction furnace was it, I think. Nope, it was the blast furnace. And I'm going to have... shall I make 4 of them? In a row, or will 6 do? To be honest, I don't really remember the ratios anymore. But that's another good thing. Leaving some space here. That means I can increase in case I need to. Increase the size of the setup. There we go. Of course, that needs an output as well as an input. And once again, it depends on you what kind of fuel you want to use in them. So after the blast furnaces, oh right, this is right. Wrong. Can't have that. At least not this way. We do need a double row of inserters here. One for the fuel. And one Nope, wrong. And one for the product from the metal processing. The ore processing. There we go. That should do. I'm gonna put you... Yeah, that's the way. Oh man. And like this. There we go. Then the output here for the ingots. Then we are going to need the induction furnace. I'm gonna put 4 down to keep it even with the blast furnaces. Then the output, of course, is molten, something liquid, which means you are going to need pipes for this. I'm gonna use steel pipes. Right, and then, depending on what you want to do, you can either put down the strand casting machine, this one, or the normal casting machine. I think I'm going to go with the normal casting machine for now. So, if I remember the ratio correctly, 1 blast furnace can support 4 casting machines, which means 8, 16, which can be done like this, and 4, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Let's try to keep this even. I'm gonna take this one up. Two, 3, 4. Now it's even. Okay, and then again 2, 3, 4. On 2, 3, and I completely messed this one up, didn't I? There we go. We are going to need steel pipes. There we go. Connect all of that up. Then, of course, we are going to need to bring the end product out. And 4. And the same on this side. And it's ready to make iron plates. Now all we need is the ore. To get this, however, we need to fight a lot of enemies. Okay. Bring that out. Now, how should we do this? I could do it like this. To make a double. That should work. And then into the warehouse. Either that or straight to the line, the main bus. I could also put a warehouse here as a buffer, but then I would have a problem. I couldn't expand the setup anymore, so I'm going to go without a buffer and just have it like this. Now we have quite a bit of space here, and that is intended because the ore processing machine for the processed ore is only the first step. We can process it even further. Let's search for iron. So, as can you see, we have processed iron, we have iron pellets, and we have iron powder. The pellets, I definitely know they are the next step in the iron processing, or metal processing in general, or processing. And the iron powder, I'm not sure. I think, yeah, ingredients, 1 iron, guess 1 iron powder. And let's see. Ingredient in... I think the iron powder is part of this whole process. I'm gonna take a look at the powder mixer. I believe it can be done in the powder mixer. Either that or there is another machine. Let's take a look. Powder metallurgy. Yeah, that is a sintering oven. Alright? Yeah, it's a sintering oven. Powder metallurgy. Aluminum smelting. Advanced steel. Chrome smelting. Yeah. Doesn't tell me much, but I'm pretty sure powder is part of that as well. So as we go, as the game progresses, and as we progress, we can increase the length of this production line even further. So this is basically the basic setup here. I'm gonna remove these machines right now because I would like to put down some rails and other things. Get rid of all of that. Okay, we are going to need some loaders. I will need 6 for this side, 4 for... Do I need 4? Yeah, let's make it 4. Which means 10. Then we're going to research a little bit further. The construction vehicle. That's an interesting thing. I tested it shortly in my other save. Basically, you sit in that car, you fit it with drones, and the drones basically work from that car and build stuff. Same goes for the rail car that we can get as well. Let's see. There it is. Construction train. We've got the locomotive, the wagon. Construction train robo wagon. Yeah, I think this is basically for just rail blueprints, but I could be wrong. I haven't tested the train out too much yet. Let's make some space here. I'm gonna get some rails and train stops. And we should be able to have that going soon. The loaders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Gonna do it like this then. Oops. And 4 for the outside. Oh no, wait. The loader is too long. 2 tiles long, I believe. So let's make a little bit of space here. And then do it like this. There we go. Of course I did it wrong. So, first loaders are finished, and yes, they are 2 tiles long. Good. Research is done. Petrochem trains. Gives us the locomotive, gas tank wagon, and oil tank wagon. Let's research this. I find Angel's trains to be way better looking than the vanilla trains, to be honest. I love using them. So, this one's almost finished. Oh, and by the way, you're going to love loaders. I know I do. They make loading and unloading so much easier. Especially from train stations. Speaking of, let's build one. That should be long enough for now. Gonna put the train stop in. Can I build a train? Can I? A junk train? I could build a junk train. I could build a steam locomotive, but you know what? Let's buy one of the Petrochem trains. I believe that was under... Was it under logistics? Well, maybe it's in its own category. Angel's enhancement? Nah. Logistics. Angel's logistics. There we go. The Petrochem locomotive. Let's fit some... Oh, wait. Right. I need one more. Then we are going to need... Oil tank wagon... Gas tank... Construction... I think I'm gonna need the normal ones. So, back to logistics. Do I have the wagons here somewhere? Portable chest. Is that it? Let's take a look. I don't think it is. Nah, that's the one from the junk train. Do I have that researched yet? Apparently not. Wait a sec. I should have researched this already. Railway. There it is. Cargo wagon. Why haven't I found it yet? Speaking of that, let's research. Oh, you're right. It gives us the pump. But it's Mark II. Aluminum. Don't have that yet. Solar panels I have researched. Let's stay with this. I should have the wagons here somewhere. It's the pump. Activity module. It's not a wagon. Where's the wagon? Couldn't be under Bob's logistics, can it? Oh. It's under Bob's logistics. Wow. Last place I would search. Actually, the last place I have searched. So. See? This one is looking so awesome. It's real stylish. Then we are going to need the cargo wagons. And of course, one locomotive back. Fuel. So we can move it around a little bit if we have to. Rear transport is finished. Where's signals? Okay, we are going to need more loaders. One for each side. What was it again? Logistics, right? Logistics. 6 in total. Now here's the thing with trains. I'm not sure if Angel's trains do have a what's it called? A grid. I'm not sure. Maybe Bob's trains have a grid, because instead of having them run on fuel like coal and stuff, I would like to have them run on solar power and batteries. But I'm not sure if the petrochem is actually capable of that. It doesn't seem to have a grid. Let's take a quick look at the car here. The car does have a grid. Okay, let's get the trading chest up. I'm gonna buy myself a normal locomotive. One, please. Gonna place that here. No, doesn't. Oh, it does have a grid. Equipment grid. This one does not. So, the normal trains do have a grid. Angel's trains do not. That is interesting. I was hoping Angel's trains would have a grid as well. They look a lot more stylish, but maybe I should replace them with normal trains, because then I could have them run on solar power and batteries, which would be way more economical. I wouldn't have to lay fuel lines everywhere. So let's do it like this. Okay. I don't have it run like this. The way I'm doing this is to keep the loaders that we are going to get later in mind, because they have a lot faster output. They unload trains a lot faster, which means that joining together 2 or more of these loaders can lead to some serious congestion and low loading times, high loading times. So to combat that, I'm doing it with one loader having one line each, and then with 6 unloaders, putting the ore into 6 loaders and then into the silo. That also means that you probably are not going to need 2 of these loaders later on, when you have more the faster loaders. Unless the speed of the higher tier ore processing machines is so high that you definitely need them. Depends. We're gonna see how it works out. Okay. Do it like this. And then like this. So far, so good. We've got the setup, we got the station. We got the warehouse for ore storing, we got the first tier of ore processing for processed iron, which is then getting turned into ingots. For now, I'm gonna just use the coke for this. And yeah. The thing is, you can use the coke as fuel as well as resource. So if you're already at it and want to make iron ingots with 8 processed iron and 2 cokes, then you can just use that as fuel if you want. Just makes things a little bit easier probably. So, and then we have, for the induction furnace, we get the molten iron. The molten iron is being turned into plates, which is then fed directly either to a storehouse, if you want, or directly into the main bus. So, this is only the first part of the train station. I have to do this setup about 4 more times. So we have copper, lead, and tin in it as well. And as time goes by and we get we have need of more resources and different metals, all of this is going to be expanded into the north and into the west. Okay, I think that's it for this episode. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then why don't you consider to like, share, comment, or subscribe. It'll help me and the channel. And as always, I hope I'm going to see you next time. Until then, stay safe.